We'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong. In every comment.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, Eye Candy has very kindly sent me a bunch of different colors of mica powder to try out, and I am going to share them with you today. Not only that, but they also gave me a discount code that you guys can save yourself some money if you want to try them. Now, let me just tell you that I have not had the chance to play with a whole lot of them yet because I just received them, but these colors are absolutely beautiful. I'm super excited to try all of them. Now, today we are going to use 3 of them, and we're going to use the wisteria. We're going to use, I think it's jade green, and I want to say it's pronounced soji. I'll have everything linked below for you guys and the names of all the colors I used. I wanted to do some frogs today, and I haven't done frogs in such a long time. I had to order new molds because I haven't found mine yet. So what we're going to do is I have this beautiful flower that I really love. So we're going to include this in one of them, and we're going to use the, like I said, I think it's called Soji, the wisteria, and a black pigment paste. And the other one, we're going to use these multi-sized beads that I got. The jade green, we are going to use Let's Resin's color shifting blue and Let's Resin's ocean white pigment paste. Okay. First things first, I want to attempt to put eyes in. Now, I've only done this one other time, and it's been so long that I honestly don't even remember how it went. So, I know in theory how to do it. In actuality, it's a lot harder than it looks. So I'm just taking a little bit of Let's Resin's UV resin. I am sticking the eyeballs in there. Now, you saw that I got a pencil and I drew which way the line of the eye was going so that hopefully in theory I can align them straight and they won't be all wonky looking. I don't know. Now, I use the 8mm size eyes in this, and honestly, I thought that this was the right size, but maybe the 6mm ones work better because I feel like it was going over the actual little like eye hole that's in there, and it was too big. But at this point, I was already committed, so that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna see. And it's hard to get up in there and see what you're doing. And every time I would like lift it up to move it, then the eye would just shift down, and it was just a whole thing. So I got them to where I thought maybe they're okay. I'm gonna just flash cure them real quick with Let's Resin's UV flashlight. And then after everything's said and done and I get the other one done, then I'm just gonna put it under their cordless UV light for like 5 minutes just to make sure that it's fully cured, and that when I pull them out later on after they're done, I'm not gonna get a gooey mess and the eyeballs aren't gonna pop off and just ruin everything. You know what I mean? Now, if you haven't done this before, like I said, I have difficulty. I don't know if everybody else does or if it's just me and I'm just that certain kind of special, which could very well be the case. um, you know, it's I completely forgot what I was saying. All right, well, I guess that thought's gone, so we're just gonna move on from it. But you do want to be careful after you cure them. You don't want to be bumping around and messing around where those eyes are because it can very easily pop out, and then you'll have honestly ruined the eye that you're using because the UV resin is going to be stuck to it. Obviously, it's not going to stick to the silicone. It's kind of holding it there because it'll stay there, but it's not going to stick to it permanently like it will the eye. So you do want to be careful not to bump it around and all of that and squeeze it or, you know, whatever, because you don't want that eye to pop out. Now, can you shove it back in there? Possibly, but again, that seal would have been broken. So when you go to pour your epoxy in it later on, then you may have the issue with it running up and over and ruining it that way. Okay, so let's move on to the next step now that we have our eyes in, and hopefully they're not going to be all wonky and dumb looking. And I'm going to cut this flower kind of down a little bit. What I want to do is I want to shove it in here after I pour some clear resin in there. But I want it to kind of curve up. Like I do want it to curve around the sides so that it gives that the whole entire piece more dimension. But I don't want it to be so big that it's going to go over where the little armholes are and I have to worry about air pockets or anything like that getting trapped. So I'm going to cut it as small as possible without, messing with the integrity of the actual flower itself. Now, this particular piece, I want to say that it is some kind of a sticker. I don't know if it's a rub-on or what, but the plastic on it is super, super thick. So because of what I'm doing, I'm not going to try to separate it because there's nothing to stick it on to. So we're just going to go with it like that. But I do think it comes apart. Like I said, I don't know if it's a rub-on or if it's just an actual sticker. Not sure, but it doesn't matter for this project anyway. We don't need to take the backing off. Okay, so I mixed up just a little bit, about 4 ounces of Let's Resin's Fast Cure Resin. And the reason I did this is I don't want a whole lot of movement. So I want a thicker resin. Now, I'm not pouring it real deep. I don't want it to go into the legs or the arms. It's obviously it's going to go into the head some, and that's fine. But I don't want it to go in those other areas because we're going to come back after this part cures and we're going to go in with those colors that I picked out so that he's a colorful frog. But we need the clear so that you can actually see the image and the little balls that I'm putting in there. Okay, so first up, I'm just going to dump a bunch of these in here, all different sizes, which is going to be cool because it'll give it some extra depth and dimension to it as well. Now, they are not completely covered. They're only, depending on the size of them, maybe up to halfway covered. There are some, like the smaller ones, that are completely under the resin. I'm just moving them around just to kind of spread them evenly out along the entire length of its body. And we're just going to set this off to the side, let it cure and do its thing. Now for this, because I am hoping not to get any air pockets trapped below, and I can't necessarily see underneath where the flower itself is printed, I did go over the top part of it with epoxy resin first, just smeared it on a little bit, and now we're going to work it into place. Now, at this time, before your resin cures, if you've not done anything like this, you want to get it positioned exactly where you want it. Now, this is, like I said, because it's a heavier, whatever the plastic is, it's a heavier piece. I don't think it's going to move around too much. I mean, that's always, a possibility as it cures. But I wanted to get it even exactly lined up where I want it to be. And I'm just kind of looking underneath every now and again to see. I want it to kind of be under the resin because I don't want it floating on top. It'll look kind of weird. So obviously there'll be a clear layer underneath of it, but I kind of want it to have that kind of concave shape to it. And I was trying to keep it in place. It kept wanting to come back up. I didn't want to stay in the position I wanted. So I was trying everything unsuccessfully to kind of hold it in place without messing up the resin or putting too much pressure in one area. Well, I just finally gave up, and however it is, it's gonna be. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I do fool around with it forever, and then I decided, well, maybe I need to take a little bit more resin out because now I'm getting it into the legs. Every time I push it down, it's going in the legs, and it's in all these places, and it's just being difficult. All right. Anyway, so here we are. This is now the next day, and it is time to do our colors. So for this, I just used regular Let's Resin epoxy resin for it. Did another, I think I did 8 ounces here. We're going to divide it into 6 different cups, 3 for each of the frogs, and we're going to work on the blue guy first. And what I want to do is, and of course I forgot when I was scraping it in here, I do want to add a little bit of clear to the bottom before I start pouring my colors. Now, if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll know why. If you're new and this is the first video you're watching, I'm going to tell you. And I'm sorry to repeat it over for those of you that have heard, but you know, I've kind of got to be there for the new people too. So the reason I'm doing that is it acts as a buffer between, typically between your silicone that you're pouring it onto and the resin that you're pouring. It's going to act as a buffer so that it can move. If I were to pour the color directly onto there, whatever color I pour first, that's where it's going to lay. I want it to be able to move, so that's why I'm adding a little bit of clear first. Now, I understand that I'm not pouring it directly onto silicone. It's fine. It's still going to act the same way. I don't want it just to set there. So, pour just a little bit of clear into each one of the frogs. Now we are mixing up the white pigment paste by Let's Resin. I want this completely opaque. I don't want to be able to see through it at all. And then we're going to add in our colors. And like I said, for this one, I'm using the Color Shifting Blue by Let's Resin and the Jade Green by Eye Candy. And that green is a gorgeous green. Let me just tell you, like, just seeing it as mica does nothing for it. Like, you can't tell. Like, it just looks like it's a pretty green, right? When you mix it into your resin, and of course I'm not doing that first, I'm gonna wait and do it last. But when you mix it into your resin, the colors that you see in it, absolutely stunning. Same thing with this blue. This blue is really pretty too. And I like the fact that it has that slight color shift to it. It's not a chameleon, but it does have some color changing abilities. Not like a chameleon though. So just understand that there's a difference. Okay, now on to this color. This has, like, it's the green, and then when I mix it, you'll see here in a second, you get golds and like a slight touch of orange as you mix it. I mean, look, you can already see the colors starting to show. I mean, I was just mesmerized by this as I was mixing it. And if you've not used eye candy pigments before, like, look how beautiful that is. Absolutely stunning. If you've not used their pigments before, they do mix up wonderfully. You don't have any issues with, I didn't have any issues anyway in any of the three that I used this day, with the mica not mixing in well or having a hard time. Like, it mixed up beautifully. It pigmented it beautifully. I didn't have to use a whole lot at all. All right. So went in with a little bit of the green, and now we're going to kind of do like a puddle pour between the three colors, and we're just going to alternate them. I want a little bit of everything in there. I want some kind of something. I don't necessarily know what I want, but I do want a combination of all of the colors. We have the blue balls that are kind of in the top part of them, right? So that's why I picked that shade blue. But the green will go lovely with it, I think. And if we can just get kind of a mixture of that, maybe with some white going down, I think it'll turn out really, really pretty. Now, with the eyes, I don't know. We'll find out. That could make or break the entire thing, honestly. And I decided that I wanted to have him to have some blue feet. Well, most of them blue. So before I filled it up, I went ahead and put the blue, and then in this one, I'm going to do green into each one of his toes and pour a little bit in there. And now the reason I waited until just before it was filled is that color will kind of stay in the arms because I have it filled up right about to there. It'll stay so that when I add the rest of the color to his body, that'll raise up and it'll push those colors back out where I had them initially. So it'll push the blue back into the hands and the feet, and it should stay. Now, is there a chance that we get a little bit of other color in there? Yeah, a slight chance that it could seep in there. But for the most part, they should stay predominantly blue, which is exactly how I want it to be. And now I'm just going to kind of touch them up just a little bit more and then finish filling this guy up, give him a spritz of alcohol, and then we will move on to the next one. Now, for this, I didn't necessarily want to mix it up. I want the resin to do its own thing, but I was kind of worried that I was just going to have a blob of white on the back, so I just kind of squiggled it in just a little bit. It's fine. All right, on to this one. So the colors that I picked are this Soja, which is kind of like a off-white, kind of shimmery color. It's absolutely beautiful, but it's not your stark white, which is what I wanted. And then Wisteria. Oh my God, guys. That color is everything. Like, you don't even know. You will in her in a second, but it is so cool. It's another one that the 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 powder itself, the mica itself, very deceiving. It's a pretty color here. Gorgeous, right? But once you mix it up in that resin, look at that. Do you see that purple coming out? It's just absolutely stunning. And I think that with the white and with the black, I think it's going to look gorgeous. So for this, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. I already have my clear in. I poured it in before I mixed my colors because I didn't want to forget like I did already. So that's in there, just chilling, waiting for me to get to it. Just a little bit of the Rolio black pigment paste. Mix it up really well. You don't want any of that kind of just floating around in your project. Otherwise, it will ruin it and you'll get craters of just straight pigment, which is not fun for anyone. All right, so I'm just kind of moving that clear resin around a little bit. And now it's time to go in with the color. So we're going in first with the wisteria, and then we're going to go in with the black, and we're just going to do the same thing that we did with the other frog. The only exception that I did differently with this one is at the end, I was kind of worried that I was going to run out of some of my colors. Like I wasn't going to have enough to fill it up. I have some of the white, the ocean white pigment paste mixed one from the other frog left, because that one, when I was pouring them in the cups, did end up getting more than these 3 cups did. So I did, like, right about midway filling it, I was looking, I was like, I might not have enough, so I'm going to add some regular white to it. But I want it kind of in the middle so that it's not going to necessarily be seen, because I don't want that stark white. I want this other kind of creamy off-white white. Make sense? For him, I decided I'm doing white feet, and we're going to do that for all of them. And then we're just going to finish filling this up, let it do its thing, and come back when they are completely cured. I'm going to bounce off here real quick, and I'll be back when we're ready to demold. All right, well, I changed my mind because when I looked at the clip, I really don't have that much more left, so there's really no point in stopping. I figure while I go through this, an update on the competition with my husband video. He finally finished painting. I am almost done editing the video. Yeah, just about there. Just have the voiceover left to do, so hopefully we will get to that tomorrow, and then I will have it out some point next week is my plan. So it is coming. It's been a long road to get him to get it done, but we're almost there. All right, so this is just about done, and here we are, 24 hours later. It is time to demold these and see how they turned out. Now, differences right off the bat. You can clearly see that the one that I'm demolding now has a lot more color showing, and that's probably because black typically overtakes everything, right? I mean, I use less black than I use the other 2 colors, but it's going to overtake it. So I'm slightly worried that maybe we're not going to see as much of the color, but I'm not sure. We won't really know until we demold. I mean, I didn't go down with the black first. I think that would have been a mistake if I did, because then for sure we would have lost definitely all of the color. But I'm just going to take 100 years to demold this guy. And while we're all aging rapidly, um, yeah. All right, let's see. How did we do? And he's not too bad. Not too bad. I don't know. I like him. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't know. He's not my favorite. The eyes, we're just not going to even talk about the eyes because this, after looking at them is where I realized that I think that they should have probably been the silk 6mm eyes that I used. But let's look at this one. This one. Oh my gosh. Like, look at that. I absolutely love this one. I love the colors in it. I love that wisteria. And then that white, just that sparkle in there. The eyes are another, I want just, if we ignore the eyes, everything will be fine. All in all, I'm happy with both of them. The colors were absolutely amazing. You can see the gold and that green coming out right here. But that's pretty much a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. I will see you on Tuesday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Is strong. Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue